COT data video for the week beginning the 22nd of April 2024. Now we have to remember the geopolitical fundamental context to what's going on in the world. So we should probably see a flight to safety, probably in speech marks, because we don't really know what the next week's going to hold for us. But if we see a similar risk off week, then there should be some demand for dollar, USD, treasuries, and gold and Swiss franc and yen, and a traditional flight to safety there. So we have to remember the context there, looking at the fundamentals. But for this purpose of this video, we need to look at the COT data and the bank positioning in a vacuum. But this would reflect some of the geopolitics and the uncertainty, because this has come from Tuesday, and we have had escalation prior and post Tuesday, because it was going crazy before Tuesday and then it sort of escalated quite a bit afterwards. So what you'll see here is we're going to have a crossover on the Euro USD, where we had one here and then we had quite a strong break and then we went into parity. If you remember, the Euro USD was below 1, okay, and that took everyone by surprise. It took a hell of a lot of people out in the process, and it stopped and it blew up a lot of accounts. So it's worth noting, if we come to the sheet, they're very long right now and also long GU. Okay, so the herd are long EU and GU. Okay, so that's of note. So we're probably going to get a crossover. And then that would also agree with the fundamental context of a stronger USD because of the risk of flows, basically. Okay, so that's of note, right? Take look at yen, and we are breaking. So 165 to 162 to 165. So we have had a decrease. So the euro is falling, the dollar is stable, the yen is falling. Okay, so that's of note. Euro off, Aussie on. They're running in parallel now, so it's not really right, because they should be distancing it. They shouldn't be correlating. The Aussie and the yen, it's just a bit weird. If that's being sold off, you'd think that would be bought, but they're both getting sold off. So it's a little bit funky. See how they're actually correlating quite well, especially here, which is really bizarre, isn't it? So that's kind of strange, but it is what it is, isn't it? So they've sold it in a quite a big way, 92 to 101. So yeah, they've sold it quite heavily. So that's a little bit naughty, but that's what would be normal here. It's like we get the deviation. They've sold that and they bought that. That would be fine, but they're selling both. So I don't know. Be a little bit careful. I think be careful with the yen, because we're going to see some BOJ intervention, especially with UJ as well. Because we're coming close to the 155 level. Pound on. Pound's of note, because we're probably very likely going to get a crossover, and it will happen at the 0 line. We'll get the crossover, and also we'll be below 0, and then it will be bearish because of that, and also because of the crossover. So we'll be doubly bearish if we break below 0, which it looks likely now. We haven't had the crossover yet, but it's looking likely. Okay, so fairly bearish. So things are being sold off. Remember, GU was a sell as well on the spreadsheet. Okay, so that's how you can use the sheet and the COT data. Just compare and contrast. Pound off, CAD on. CAD's heavy, 53 to 82. So there's a big dump on the CAD. So things are getting sold off. Okay, and it could be rebalancing for a risk off event. Perhaps they are positioning for this thing to escalate in the Middle East, and so things are getting sold off. You'd think CAD would appreciate, though, because of the oil context, but we can see that oil has fallen quite heavily, which we cover daily in the Discord and also in the evening bulletin videos. It's 5% off its high. So because oil's fallen, CAD had that dump. Okay. Sideways, really. We just 201. Yeah, we're just sideways. 201, 202, to 201. So there's the smallest, tiniest little decrease on gold. Okay, gold off. New Zealand dollar, not peso. We never look at peso ever. Yeah, New Zealand dollar. So ever so slightly higher. So the one thing of note is that that is one of the few currencies that are actually ticking higher. But if we go risk off next week, I'll definitely look to be buying the USD over the NZD, okay, because of the risk on, risk off flows, okay. And I think the dollar's going to get bid, and then we could see that go higher, and then we'll get those sell setups as well. So that's that. So let's look at Swiss franc, and then that'll be it. New Zealand dollar off, Swiss franc, and then we can call it a day on the video. So we have sold off in the Swiss franc. So it's looking like they're positioning for a risk off week. It's just that the yen, I think this is that they're just testing the BOJ's resolve, I think, and they're going to continue to sell it until they actually do something, until they hike and they change, some of their forward guidance and stuff. So yeah, so that's it really. So I think we'll probably be possibly quite risk off this week, but there's no way of knowing for sure. We have to remember that we are risk on at the big picture, but we've come way off its highs. We were minus 37 bears versus the one bull. Now we're 14 bears versus the one bull. So it's 14 people trying to short indices versus the one person buying, but we'd come off 37 bears versus the one bull, which is ludicrous. And then that was at the all-time high. Now the thing is, we may continue on the 24-hour, which we've been seeing all week, and so we're seeing that number get closer to zero. If we go to zero and then positive, it'll tell us that the herd are net long. If they're net long, then we're going to be pretty damn bearish. Okay, so we are in a state of caution right now, and we'll just have to see how we go. I'm going to do the spreadsheet readiness now, and I'm looking forward to the week ahead because our bot is going really well, and we made a fantastic week in terms of risk to reward as well. So I'll speak to you guys soon. One and all, we have a strong disclaimer that we need to stipulate. The fact is that it's really easy to lose money while trading, and you absolutely must have risk management at the forefront of your mind at every trade decision. Before you enter, you need to know where your exit is. You don't just enter willy-nilly. You need to stipulate your stop loss, and you need to know about your sizing as well. All this information is in the Discord as well, and it's also on YouTube. So if you don't know your sizes and then you don't know your stop loss, you're going to encounter horrific losses, okay? And also it's highly risky, and the stuff that I put out on a daily basis, it's for your own information. It's not to be traded on its own. You need to be used with a trading system and with a risk management at the forefront of that system at all times. You can't trade without the risk management, because you will blow your money. And I dare say, if you're watching this video, you would have lost a lot of money, and you've blown maybe an account or even several. So it's absolutely critical that you've got a very keen sense of risk management at everything you do. It's like crossing a busy street. You wouldn't cross the road without looking left and right. You'd wait for the traffic light, and then it would go from red, amber, green, and then once it went to green, you'd still be careful. Okay, so just a quick video there, and be really careful. It's a highly volatile market. In fact, it's probably the most volatile market you could ever get into, and while it can make you a lot of money, it can also cause catastrophic losses. So be careful at all times.